I bought this new retro handheld the other week because I'm an adult and can buy whatever I want. And I figured, man, I'm gonna play so much Pokemon on this thing, and I was right for about 3 days until I loaded up Tetris for the first time ever in my life. Don't know what compelled me to, just saw it and clicked on it, and I just have one question. Why didn't anybody tell me that Tetris fucking slaps? I obviously always knew about this game, but I never really had any interest in playing it, and now I haven't been able to stop for about 3 weeks. The original for the NES, Tetris DX for the Game Boy, even gave Tetris 2 a shot. That was weird. Honestly though, my go-to has been this fan-made version, Tetris, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. After playing so much of these games, I've come to the conclusion on which of these oddly shaped blocks are my favorite to come across. So today I'm going to take a look at each Tetris block to decide which ones I think are the best and the worst. Also, in doing my research for this, the blocks are apparently called Tetrominos, but we're just going to stick with blocks. I could also refer to each block as the shape it is, but why would I do that when somebody ended up giving them ridiculous names? We've got Blue Ricky, Orange Ricky, Rhode Island Z, Cleveland Z, Hero, Smash Boy, and Tiwi. These aren't like official names, somebody just made them up as a joke online, but I love them, so that's what they are now. We're only going to be covering the main 7 here used in almost every game. What we're not going to talk about is the weird shapes in Tetris 2 or the blocks in Tetris Attack, because while enjoyable, Tetris Attack feels more like Bejeweled and Tetris 2 is just weird. So let's start off with Blue Ricky. The J-shaped blue pieces, these guys are weird because sometimes they're perfect. You got the space for it, lock it in, and bam, there's 3 rows gone. But other times it's like, what are you doing here, man? Nobody invited you. These ones are pretty versatile though. Even if you don't have a place to stack it vertically, laying it down horizontally can save some room, or even help build some lines pretty quickly and give you some good spots to place some of your more odd shapes. I think these ones are pretty inoffensive, so let's go with B tier. Orange Ricky. The inverse of our last set of blocks, it's the same thing but just flipped the other way, and orange instead of blue. However, I think I like this one slightly more. I'm sure it completely comes down to the way that I play Tetris, but I tend to find more spots for this shape than the previous one. It has basically the same exact pros and cons as Blue Ricky, but personally I just have better luck when it comes to this guy here. So I'm going to put it above Blue Ricky on A tier. Rhode Island Z. This S-shaped block is a curse, a demon, the worst thing to come across. Every once in a while, it'll be exactly what you need, but those moments where there's absolutely no way to use it far outweigh the times that you can. In most games, you can only clear 2 lines with this guy, although in some later games it has some more use to it. However, most of the time when you get this guy, it's just super inconvenient. And if you start the game with this one, oof. Instantly know that that round's not off to a good start. Every block has a purpose, and this one's purpose is to piss me off. D tier. Cleveland Z. Ah, the Z block that's actually a Z. Now I know what you're thinking, if I hate the other one, I should hate its mirrored counterpart too. Can this one be inconvenient like the previous one? Of course. But for some reason this one seems to be more usable than its counterpart. There's still plenty of times where this one isn't what I need and it leaves me with an open space or blocking another space. And maybe it's just the way that I play Tetris, but there's usually a place on my board for this one for some reason. So this one's going above its counterpart in C tier. Hero. Now going into this, you'd probably think this one's going to be S tier right off the bat. And while I think it does have some great things going for it, I'm not quite sure if it's the best one that we've got. Yes, it does come in handy a lot of the time, especially when there's a long gap on one of the sides, or even just in a random spot. It's also the only way to score a triple or a quad, which definitely helps clear the board and rack up some major points. And if you have the space, you can even flip this bad boy on its side and boom, there's 4 spaces right there already filled. However, there's also times where this one is just sort of inconvenient. Sometimes there's not really a good spot to put it, and so you have to just like shove it off to the side and hope for the best later. It's not a huge detractor, but it definitely can be, especially if you're further into the game and everything's speeding up, it can really throw you for a curveball. The pros definitely outweigh the few cons though, so we're still going to be sitting pretty high, so I'm going to say a solid A tier. Smash Boy. First of all, this is technically referred to as the O shape. Yeah, if that's an O, I'm the Queen of England. Shit. Anyways, this is your standard square shape, which can definitely come in handy quite a bit of the time. There's plenty of instances where Smash Boy here saves you quite a bit of grief and can even knock out 2 rows at a time and get you a double. However, there's also plenty of times where there's just not a good place to put this guy, and then you end up having to sacrifice a space just to play it. This one's kind of a 50-50. Sometimes it's great to get, sometimes you just end up stacking like 3 of them because there's nowhere else for it to go. So I'm going to go with B tier. And last but not least, we've got Tiwi. Now this guy should be called Hero. Yeah, I can only clear 2 lines at a time, but it's by far the most versatile. In my last couple of weeks of playing nothing but Tetris, there hasn't been a single moment that I can think of where I got this block and thought, oh no, now this guy's here. The T block is always welcome in my book. Every single time I've gotten it, there's been a place to put it, and more than usual, it's exactly what I need to clear a line or two. Sure, it's more flashing and fun to knock out 4 lines at a time with the I block, but sometimes consistency is key and you can always count on a T block to be there for you. No matter how messed up your game is, there's always a spot for a T block. This is the best Tetris piece, hands down. S tier. And there you have it, my ranking of all 7 original Tetrominos. And like I said, I did just play this game for the first time ever like 3 weeks ago, so I'm kind of an expert on this stuff. Let me know in the comments which blocks are your favorite and which ones you hate to see coming. Jump scare. Matt here from, the video. Just wanted to pop in real quick and say a huge thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed. We just hit 1,000 subscribers and that is absolutely insane. I couldn't be more grateful to anyone who's watched these videos. I appreciate it so much. Your time is so valuable, so thank you for letting me share a little bit of it with you. Also, this might be a recurring thing from now on because I get to do this. That's right, 1 Patreon subscriber, baby. I am proud as hell of that. So a big thank you for being my first subscriber on Patreon. And if you want your name up here as well at the end of every video, the Secret Ham Society is always open. You can get my videos without ads, you can chat with other members and myself. I'm also planning on doing polls for video topics and a monthly live stream just for my Patreon subscribers. So if you want to take part in those, feel free to subscribe. Anyways, big thank you to everybody out there who's watched these videos. Subscribers or not, I appreciate you either way. Even if this is your first time watching my videos, I appreciate the hell out of it. We'll see you next time.